Okay, good morning, class. Today I'm going to talk to you about a very crucial situation that happened in Libya. In late 2008, Libyan authorities for the first time started to address the hundreds of disappearance cases in connection with the massacre at the Abu Salim prison in 1996. And the disappearance is related to all political affairs, all big shot guys who have made a mark outside of Libya, and that is why they're disappeared now. The government had never publicly revealed what happened there, and some of those who died had not been heard from for as long as 17 years. So the guys I'm going to talk to you about today have been missing for 17 years, and no one has an idea where they are or anything like that. Over the past year, the authorities have informed at least 800 families that their loved ones perished at the prison in 1996, offering compensation in exchange for relinquish and legal claims. So what Gaddafi did was, for these families, they tried to pay them off and be like, just, you know, whoever is missing, we have no idea where they are, but this is the amount of money I'm going to give you and your family to be well equipped. Everything should be fine with the amount of money you're getting. Italy conducted an investigation which concluded that they had never arrived in Rome, which I'm going to talk about this is Musa al-Sadr. In 2005, Sadr's family refused an offer to compensation from Libya. His family refused to take the money that Gaddafi and the government was offering. Their Lebanese lawyer, which is this guy, Jaballa M, said the family rejected the offer because the family wanted to establish the truth on what really happened to Mr. Sadr. The disappearance of al-Sadr and his companions has long troubled relations between Libya and Lebanon. Lebanon will not send any top leaders to summit, limiting itself the ambassador to Arab League. And this means that Lebanon and Libya are completely opposed to whatever they both decide upon because of this guy. Because he's missing, he was a top shot there, and he's now missing, so why deal with the compensation there? No money is going to ever give you back that person or your love. In December 2006, the United Nations opened for signature the International Convention for the Protection of All the Persons for Enforced Disappearance. That's when, years later, they decided, okay, let's start a program that will show kind of have money in that case to be able to find people who have disappeared allegedly. The convention defines the grave and serious violation of the human rights and enforced disappearance as the arrest, detention, abduction of any other form of deprivation. The next person I'm going to talk about is Jaballa M, who a lot of people know about, well, after this. Jaballa M was born in 1939 in Libya. As a young man, he joined the Royal Libyan Army after reaching the rank of colonel before the age of 30. So he was in a good state before anything happened. After Gaddafi's 1969 coup, Matar worked for the Libyan Permanent Mission in the United Nations. So in New York. So he had a lot to do with the nations over here and the relationship between the presidents here and his job versus being in Libya. His wife and their sons lived in New York until 1973, when in objection to the conduct of the new regime, Matar resigned and the family returned to Libya. Clearly, he didn't know what he was getting into by going back to his hometown, which he thought has completely changed, and he will have the exact same freedom he has by living over here. In the following years, he became one of the country's most successful entrepreneurs, bringing the American company Converse and Japan's Mitsubishi, actually, to the Middle East. He was the one that created that. In the late 1970s, his name appeared on the Revolutionary Committee list of those wanted for interrogation. For no reason, he was on the list of whenever he flies or whatever. Anytime you see him or his name, he had to be stopped and get investigated, been searched, and everything for no reason. In 1979, he and his family began a protracted escape out of Libya, eventually settling in Cairo, because at that point, clearly living in New York, having a freedom life, and then going back to Libya and being suffocated there, you know that obviously there's a big difference there. In Egypt, in fact, Matar began to voice his opposition to the Libyan dictatorship, which once he moved to Egypt, he knew that he's safe there, so he'll be able to fight back for the people that can't leave Libya. In his articles, he called for democracy, the rule of law, and justice. He established a private fund that awarded scholarships and aid to exiled Libyan students and award 50,000 grant forward to whoever wants to study as a Libyan student. So his grant was basically for the people that are stuck there and want to get out, and it was a $50,000 grant, so which was awarded to anyone who wanted to further their education out of his own funding. At the time of his abduction in 1990, he was one of the most prominent figures of the Libyan opposition and a leading member of the National Front of the Salvation of Libya. So when he was kidnapped, in fact, no one had any idea what exactly happened. And he was living in Egypt, so that's when they were like, okay, what happened? What's the deal with the government over there that he's disappeared now? Because he opposed and voiced out his opinion against Libya. So this was the signs and everything they had to introduce to try and free him, because they had no idea where he is, what he's going through, or what he's been. This is Mansour Khiaki, who actually was Gaddafi's most prominent Libyan critic, and he also vanished in Cairo in December of 1993. Just disappeared like that. Nothing, no questions asked, nothing. At the time, he was an American resident, 4 months away from citizenship. So he was living in America legally. Everything was fine. He was almost getting his citizenship when he got abducted. In this summer, in fact, of 2010, the CIA concluded that Mr. Khiaki had been kidnapped by Egyptian agents. So putting this case and Mr. Matar's case together, Egypt was actually, it was under the table. A lot of the people that were paid to do this was related to Libyan government. So though they moved to a different country and whole different rules and regulations as a government, they were still abducted only because Egypt and Libya were together. Washington should insist that Egypt identify and punish those responsible for extending the reach of Libyan terrorism to an American national in Cairo. Because Egypt and Libya are together in terrorism and all the bad situations that are going on, for example, like the kidnapping and abduction of these big people, America wants to actually start a sort of funding, which I found out online recently. They want to start a funding between being able to help the countries that are not being able to help by the government, for example, like Libya, because Gaddafi and his power and everything is what's ruining the country. In 1993, eyewitnesses at the time reported that he was abducted by 3 men in a black limousine with diplomatic license plate. So this is a couple of pictures of the families that are still waiting on getting answers for their son, father, whoever is missing. They're still looking, and they're never gonna, no money can make them stop what they're doing. This, in fact, is the Islamic clergy who actually is involved with Gaddafi. The reason why I put both these pictures together is to show that their both relationship is completely equal with each other. They want nothing but power and nothing but money. Clearly, this his hand was this was obviously photoshopped by someone to show